Hello everybody, this is Enrique with Enrique and Friends, and today we are broadcasting from the city of Venice in Southern California at the great, wonderful and luscious city of Los Angeles. And today we are at a really nice and hip place of my really good friend and client Cappella. He is an Australian designer and he's been all over the place. And today Jordan is gonna give us his thoughts about social media. So let's introduce my really good friend and client Cappella.
Hey Enrique, thank you for having me here today. It's great to be on Enrique and Friends. It's
Thank you.
Wonderful pleasure. Thank you.
Of course. So Jordan, I always wonder what are your thoughts about social media? I see you all the time using all these wonderful tools on the internet. So what do you think? How social media have benefited you?
Enrique, in this day and age, we are so lucky with all the social media outlets that are at our fingertips. And while it's a lot of work to maintain social media outlets, it's also free. The only thing that actually costs is your time. So you can benefit by being a startup business that you don't actually have to spend a lot of money to see a lot of results. You just have to put the effort and the work in and stay focused on what you're doing.
Right. And could you please tell us a little bit to everybody here on Enrique and Friends, to all the audience, and by the way, this is going to be seen all over the world. And I know, a little bit nerve-wracking. So, yeah, Jordan, I always see you blogging, tweeting, I've seen you on Facebook, and I've seen you pretty much all over the place. How do you do it?
You know, Enrique, the basic rule of thumb for social media that I follow is tweet once a day, blog once a week, and vlog, which is video blogging, once a month. And that is going to help maintain a higher profile for yourself and a consistency within the market, so people are going to know who you are.
Wow, right. And of course, it not only works for business, not only works for, let's say, design, it will for all kind of careers, right?
Social media crosses all walks of life, all different industries. The tips that I'm going to give you today are based more on business, because that's what I focus my social media on. But yeah, they can cross professional, business, and all different industries. That's the beauty of social media.
Wow. And Jordan, could you please tell us a little bit, like people that are like hesitating about social media, that the ones that are not quite sure about how to use it, how specifically in your case, how did it help your career?
You know, well, first of all, what I'd love to do, if I could give you five top tips on tweeting that I found really important to myself and to my career. Number one tip with tweeting is find the top tier within your industry. Find the experts within your industry and follow them.
Wow, that's tip number one. What is tip number two?
Tip number two, when it comes to tweeting, is try to tweet as much as possible with questions and with photographs, because typically you'll find you'll get your highest response rate from tweeting with questions and with photographs.
Wow, that's really interesting. Never thought about it. And what is tip number three?
Tip number three, if you're focusing on business, then try to keep it professional. Don't use profanities. Try not to incorporate your personal beliefs and views on religion or politics. I just find it's really important just to stay focused on the industry that you're trying to promote yourself within and your business that you're trying to promote. So keep personal opinions out of it as much as possible.
Wow, that's really Yeah, that's really interesting. And what is tip number 3?
Tip number 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Number 4.
Tip number 4, when you get a new follower on Twitter, you know, some people say to DM them to acknowledge that they're following you. In all honesty, getting a direct message from somebody saying thank you for following me actually annoys me. I would prefer, and what I try to do with my new followers, is to incorporate them in a tweet and welcome them via a tweet. That way you're letting all your followers know that you're now interacting with this new person. So I find it more personal to welcome them to your page with a tweet as opposed to a direct message. I try to send direct messages when it's actually a question that I need an answer to. We're all busy, so I don't want to be checking 30,000 different messages a day that are just welcoming me. I would prefer to get a tweet.
Right. All right. So what is tip number 5?
Tip number 5, when it comes to tweeting, is find out the high peak traffic hours on Twitter. And that way you're going to be able to reach the most people and the most followers. And look, it's a global world we live in, obviously, and you can hit markets at different times, but just be aware of when you're tweeting so you make sure that you hit the markets you want at the peak time. So as the most followers will be able to read your tweet and then reshare it.
Wow, this is so rich, so interesting. I mean, I never thought about it on tweeting. I figured out a few things about the blogging. Sometimes it works like for me, like more people reach me on Europe and Asia or Russia and so on. And wow, this is so interesting. So Jordan, going back to the original question, how social media in general has benefited your career?
Social media has benefited my business and my career in a couple of ways. One, like I said, it doesn't cost anything financially, it just costs time. So I've been able to bring my design aesthetics to a broader audience without having to spend too much money. And in this day and age we live in of social media, a lot of editors don't have time to get out and source new designers, source new designs, source new businesses. So they're actually scouring the internet and scouring Twitter. And they're actually scouring the internet and scouring Twitter to find the latest designs and the latest fashions and trends. So I've actually been published in paper magazines based on blog posts that I have written, based on tweets that I have sent out. So it's a great way to get the powers that be to find out that you exist and to see what you create.
So wow, that's so interesting. So Jordan, I've seen you multiple times with celebrities on pictures on multiple magazines, and I also have seen you on TV on different shows. Jordan, how do you find these people? How do you make for you to be on these shows?
Actually getting on TV shows, I don't find them, they find me.
Of course.
But which is just to prove the point of how powerful social media really is. I also try to go to as many events within the design field as possible, because again you're going to meet the powers that be, you're going to meet editors of magazines, owners of companies, but you know, I've been on a few different shows. I was on HGTV's Design Star season 7 that just wrapped up. I was also on Millionaire Matchmaker, which is on Bravo, and in that case they had found me. I was at a club and one of the casting directors came up to me and we started talking, and they had asked me if I'd be interested in being on the show, which I was, and it was a lot of fun, and I did that twice. And then I was on another show called Pretty Hurts, which aired on Logo, which was all about Botox and fillers, and you know, it was very LA, but it was a lot of fun.
Of course, that was very late. And where I think you have some of these pictures, some of these videos on your website, right? Mm-hmm. Could you share with us what is your website?
JordanCappella.com, and you can find all of my social media outlets on there and my portfolio, and see any television work that I've done.
Wow, that's so interesting. So Alright guys, let's go into a little break and we'll be right back. Hello everybody, welcome back. It is Enrique Otarola with Enrique and Friends, and today I'm presenting my really good friend and client, Jordan Cappella. He's an Australian designer based here in the greater Los Angeles area. So Jordan, could you please share with us what are your thoughts on blogging? We have heard really interesting things about tweeting. What are your thoughts about blogging?
Blogging I started doing probably about 6 years ago now, and really blogging's like having your own magazine. So the information and the articles you put into that magazine is up to you and is dependent on what audience you would like to target. So for me it's obviously design. Now some bloggers just write about other designers. Myself, I focus my blog on work that I have done to showcase the projects that I've worked on, whether it be furniture design, whether it be a candle collection, whether it be an interior design job. So really with blogging, just make any articles that you write about pertinent to the pertinent. So really, with blogging, you want to make any of the articles that you're writing about pertinent to the industry that you're involved with. So write about yourself and what you're up to, write about people that you admire, write about magazine articles that you've seen of late. Just try to incorporate as many hot links into your blog that would enable you to go to the front page of a Google search engine. So if you're writing about a magazine, put the magazine. If you're writing about an article in a magazine, put the link to that magazine and the article in your blog, and that is going to help you come up higher in the search engine on things such as Google.
Wow, that's so interesting, so interesting. So Jordan, could you please tell us to round up the idea about social media? What are your final thoughts on maybe advice to the newcomers, the new people that are the ones that are not quite sure how to start yet?
Okay, so I would love to. So again, a rule of thumb that I follow is to tweet once a day, blog once a week, and vlog, which is video blogging, at least once a month. And that's the bare minimum of what you should be doing in social media to be noticed within your industry and to have new people following you and stay relevant.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you for accepting being on Enrique and Friends.
Hey, Enrique. Thank you again for coming into my home and having me on Enrique and Friends. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate it. And thank you and goodbye.
And again, good night, good morning, good anything from wherever you guys are in the world. Broadcasting from the city of Venice in the greater Los Angeles area, Southern California. Goodbye.